Yo, welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet VGC video. I'm your host Jose Rocks, and today we're going to be getting into our second part of our paradox video. So in the first video, we featured the past paradox, where we were just pretty much describing which one would be the best of the three, and now we're going to decide which one's going to be the best of the future paradox. So first, the three new paradox that we have are Iron Crown for the future, right? Iron Crown, also Iron Boulder, and Iron Leaves. Now these are the brand new future paradox, and they're based off of Cobalion, which are also in the game. Cobalion, Virizion. Let's put the other one first. Terrakion. I believe that's how you pronounce his name, Terrakion and Virizion. Alright. And these are the old Pokemon, and these are the new ones that are based off of the Paradox. So pretty much these share the same main typing as these, with Steel, Rock, and Grass. The only new typing is that they drop their fighting type and they become a psychic type, right? And it's kind of like how they, transition to the future. They're a psychic Pokemon now. So I want to begin with the elephant in the room. We're gonna start with Iron Leaves and Virizion. So when you see this Pokemon, it's almost like that Spider-Man meme where where the two Spider-Man are pointing at each other and they're basically like the same one. Like, this is literally no difference, design wise, look wise, and the only difference is that the ability is different, and the main typing is different. Its stats are even very similar. Well, Virizion has a lot lower attack. Iron Leaves kind of fixed that attack. I guess Iron Leaves has better stats, but it has the same issues that Virizion had, right? Where while you drop that 4 times weakness to flying, you're now 4 times weak to bug, right? And being 4 times weak to bug is not good, because being weak to a move that Pokemon tack on to their team just to give them pivoting options is never good, right? Especially when it's gonna be chipping you for 50-60%, or maybe even one hit KOing you if it's like a choice band, U-turn from like Landorus or Rillaboom, right? Which is, it's really not good, because they're not even trying to tech that to beat Iron Leaves. They just have it and they're like, okay, well, I know it's weak to 4 times weak to bugs, so let me just click this move into it, right? And that's never good. So what things can this thing do though? Base 1 on your 30 attack is really good. A lot of people are probably gonna try to we'll delete these two for now. A lot of people are gonna try to pair it with Pinchurin, and I don't think that's the best way to use it, because this Pokemon, while it does get Electric Surge that actually boosts up your move, your signature move, which is Psyblade, and I don't think it's that good. One thing I want to say about Psyblade is Virizion also kind of got like shafted when it came to the making of these mons, because if you look at Iron Crown, its signature move is Tycon Cutter, and Iron Boulder's signature move is Mighty Cleave, right? If you look at these, their typing this is Rock, this is Steel, right? Their main typing that they kept from their previous forms. So you would think that this thing would get a Grass type move that's a signature move, right? No. These are its Grass moves that it has. None of these are signature moves. Leaf Blade is widely distributed. Solar Blade has been around in the game. Assyrian Lilligant carries it. Kartana from previous generations carried it. It's not a signature move. Trailblaze, while it is a new move to the game this year, it's not a signature move. It started off in Regulation A, the first Pokemon ever using Trailblaze. So it doesn't get any signature moves, right? So that's its signature move that it does get is Psyblade, which is based on its secondary typing, which I think is kind of like, I think they should have gave it like some type of really cool Grass type move that got some type of fun effect. And I think that would have made it a lot better. But Psyblade, while it does get boosted in terrain, electric terrain, and it also gets boosted in psychic terrain from being a psychic move, which is, I guess, unique for a move to have 2 terrains that boost it. You don't really have a good way to boost it with the electric terrain, right? Outside of Pinchurin, and Pinchurin is kind of like suboptimal. And maybe when Miraidon or Tapu Koko gets here, this thing will see some more usage. But those two Pokemon, what grass types usually like to hit are really water types. Of course, they can hit ground types that the electric types can't hit, but for the most part, they're hitting water types, right? And electric types can already hit water. So pairing a grass with an electric type is only working against ground types. And I would argue that, well, I guess they also share defensive synergy where grass types resist the ground types and electric don't. But I think that you can argue that you could find, you know, better ground type counters that complement electric types better than grass types, in my opinion, right? But if you wanted to go that route, you could pair this with like Tapu Koko or Miraidon when they get in the game. But I don't think Venturin is going to be it for it. So if we were to create a move set for this and pair it with something, I want to pair it with Thundurus. Now, if Thundurus is an electric type, it does have flying typing, right? So it's kind of not, they're kind of not like clashing. Flying and electric and grass and psychic. And what you want to do with Thundurus is to support Virizion, because if you look at Virizion, I mean not Virizion, Iron Leaf's stats, base 108 special defense is really good. And if you want to assist with that, you can go things like Eerie Impulse, right? And now you're able to eat up with Terra, which I would recommend. The best Terra for this is probably going to be, because you already resist ground and psychic with your regular typing. So I think that poison would be a good typing for that, because people are not going to want to click ground type moves into you or psychic type moves into you, right? So I think that's a perfect typing. I definitely think that you want to go clear Amulet, because this thing is intimidate food for Incineroar, and Incineroar just hits you with both of his stabs, right? And you want to be able to beat Incineroar. So I believe that you want to go with Psyblade. You want to definitely go with Leaf Blade, so you have 2 stabs, and then I would say close combat. Or if you don't want to drop your defenses, you can go with Sacred Sword, right? And then protect. I would say pretty much max the speed out, max the attack out, get the most value out of this Pokemon. You outspeed base 100, so you can surprise, you know, pretty much outspeed Chi-Yu 1-hit KO with a Sacred Sword. I don't know if it'll always let you do that, but Chi-Yu should want to come into you because it seems really good into you, right? Until you click Sacred Sword. But you have the niche of being able to one-shot Chi-Yu. I don't know if this picks up the 1-hit KO on Incineroar if you go with Adamant Nature. I mean, you actually have to go with Jolly, so you outspeed those base 100s, right? And you still get, so the thing is though, you're gonna get an attack boost, right, when you go with Electric Terrain on Thundurus. So now you have a way to manual set up terrain, kind of like how some of the new Pokemon like Archaludon likes to play alongside Tornadus and Whimsicott to, you know, manually set the rain. And the new Paradox Suicune Walking Wake likes to play alongside Tornadus and Whimsicott because they can set the sun, right? So similar thing to this one, you don't need to have a hard setting Pinchurin to set the terrain. Just set it with Thundurus. And the cool thing about this is if they switch in Indeedee, you can remove Indeedee's terrain immediately, right, with the electric terrain, even though you don't really care for it because you get a boost anyway. Let's say you're trying to like keep your priority stuff going with Thundurus. Electric terrain helps you do that. It also gives you an answer into Amoonguss. Of course, Amoonguss is not going to be good into this Iron Leaf. Iron Leaf completely destroys Amoonguss. But just for the rest of your team, if you want to build like a balanced team around this, now you got electric terrain to support it. I would say you want to go with Windbolt Storm, just because it's hard to, you know, to eat, you know, even if you don't invest into special attack with this, the 100 base electric type double hitting move is really strong. And then I would say we go with another status move as your last move. You could go Taunt, you could go Substitute, you could go Thunder Wave just to make sure that you're outspeeding things. You could go Leer. I think Leer is really cool because Leer just boosts Iron Leaf's damage up, and with the Clear Amulet, you're not having to eat those Intimidate drops. So once you set electric terrain and you get the Photosynthesis boost, now you're going for Leer. Now, you know, Iron Leaves is pretty threatening, right? And I think this might be one of the best ways to use it. I definitely think you should go Covert Cloak on this set. Since you're not carrying Protect, you don't want to be faked out, right? And then something like a Steel Terror, because one of your main weaknesses are going to be Rock and Ice. And if you want to have longevity on the field, you could go Water Terror, but you don't resist the Rock, right? But Steel Terror is really good because now you resist Ice, you resist Rock, and you resist fairy type damage, which fairy spread damage is very common. You do become weak to Chiyu, right? But you have answers in the Chiyu. I guess a Ghost Terror Chiyu can kind of like wreck this. But that's when the team building comes into play. You need to have like something like an Incineroar on your team and stuff like that. So you have like some really good synergy, like a good Firewater Grass Core can support these two, right? And I think this is a good starting point if you actually want to try to make Iron Leaves work. I think this is can be a strong combo. And it might be something that you might see other people experiment with just because they want to give Iron Leaves a try. Give it some type of justice, right? Like you kind of have to work overtime to make this Pokemon work. But I think that in this case, it can work. And you are like weak to like Blizzard spam and stuff like that. But again, that's why I say the way you build your team is you want to have counters. You want to have like a natural, like Godengo would probably fit this core, Water Ogerpon and Incineroar, and then you can like round it out with like a Flutter Mane or something like that, right? Or even like a Chiyu yourself, things like that. So well, maybe not Chiyu because you already have Incineroar, but just some more special damage. So you kind of have a balance of 3 physical attackers, 3 special attackers. So yeah, something like Incin, Ogerpon, Godengo, and then just a filler mon. But so this is gonna be pretty much the set that I think would be maybe not the most common because people might find something else, or people might actually find a way to make Venturin work with this Pokemon. But I feel like this is a little bit more consistent because they know that Venturin is gonna have to switch in or be led just for Unleashed to be effective, right? And you don't really want to have that downside to when you're using these types. So this might be something that I try to build around too when I make an Unleashed team, but we'll just see how it goes. But I think this is a really good set. Next we have Iron Boulder. So Iron Boulder is a really cool Pokemon. I think that when you compare it to Terrakion is actually going to be one of the few Swords of Justice, which is what they're called, that actually probably gets more play than its Paradox Pokemon. Even though I think that Iron Boulder ability, like not ability, is signature move that goes to protect, makes it similar to Urshifu, is really good. The Rock Psychic typing holds it back, and the fact that it doesn't get Rock Slide is really unfortunate, right? With it being a physical Rock type Pokemon, so you don't have that double hitting Rock Slide, as Terrakion actually does get Rock Slide, which is good for it, and it gets stabbed on like Sacred Sword in a close combat. The Psychic typing is not really that good here. Of course, you can go like Zen Headbutt. This does allow you to remove Amoonguss, which having coverage into Amoonguss is always welcome, right? Being able to force Amoonguss to Terror and then like using this like next to Iron Hands to really threaten Amoonguss is always really good. I think that this could be a good set, and you definitely want to carry Sacred Sword still. I think they besides probably Iron Crown because it's special, they want to carry Sacred Sword because you want to be able to hit these Pokemon that are boosting up. And while you can't hit fire types with this, like just being able to hit steel types when steel types completely wall this set is really valuable. I wouldn't say you could go like a Fighting Terror on this because now with Fighting Terror, you're weak to Dark type naturally, and Sucker Punch is really threatening for you. With Fighting type, you resist that. But I'm gonna say let's go Water Terror. I think Water Terror is a good terror with this. With you can definitely go like Booster Energy, or you could just go like Life Orb. You could go Covert Cloak. Yeah, you could go. I would say Water Terror and Life Orb, right? And Protect. Now, a set that I'm thinking of this Pokemon is what can this thing have a niche with? Now, Iron Boulder has an interesting thing that it can counter Urshifu Tornadus, and let me tell you how. It needs a lot of help, but I think that it can be good if used in like the right circumstances. So you want to go Wheezing. Why Wheezing? So Wheezing turns off abilities, right, with neutralizing gas, and I think that it's a cool partner with Iron Boulder. And what you want to do is you need one more Pokemon for this strategy to work. Is Gothitelle. And now against Tornadus Urshifu lead, you want to kind of lead Gothitelle plus Iron Boulder, right? And Iron Boulder makes it so they can't protect in front of you, and you threaten with Fake Out, right? But Tornadus is usually carrying Covert Cloak, so what you're doing is threatening the Urshifu for a Fake Out, right? But they can't switch out, right? And now you just go for like Water Terror, Mighty Cleave into Tornadus. And in order to stop them from getting Tailwind up, and now because you're base 124, like you naturally outspeed Tornadus, right? So you can move before it. You switch in Wheezing into the Gothitail slot, and Tornadus loses its priority, and it can't protect in front of you, right? And even if it does, you go through it, and now you just one-shot it with a Mighty Cleave, and now you've countered Tornadus Urshifu. Now, while Urshifu, it's going to cost you your Terror to do this, because Urshifu is going to click Surging Strikes into you. With the Water Terror, you resist those strikes, right? You're able to eat that up pretty much. And now you've removed your opponent's speed control. And if they're Choice Scarf Urshifu, then, you know, the next turn they just go down with Zen Headbutt. Regardless, if they Terror, then you can just, like, you know, use Weezing to chip it, or have like a Rillaboom or something in the back and switch that in. You can also combo that with. But the main idea is that, you know, you're able to remove Tornadus without it being able to set up Tailwind. And now they can't just sweep you under Tailwind. And if you have your own Tailwind in the back, then it's even, you know, grander for you. But I think this is a cool strategy. It could be niche, but I was thinking about it. I was like, okay, how can you get the most out of this ability? From the fact that you being 124, I was like, okay, it outspeeds Tornadus, and it can one-shot Tornadus with Mighty Cleave. Even if they go max bulk, if you just go max attack with the Life Orb, you're going to one-shot every Tornadus. And the only way that they get out of this, that they can get away from this, if they lead Urshifu into you, is for them to Terror Tornadus. And of course you Terror yours, but you also force a Terror out of your opponent. And if you have something like an Urshifu Dark in the back alongside this, I think Urshifu Dark with a Focus Sash is a very good partner for this Iron Boulder, because Iron Boulder doesn't really like going up against Steel types, and it's not gonna really want to see Ghost types either, because they do well into you and they can hit you back, and the Urshifu is able to deal with those. And if they Terror Tornadus into Ghost, then at any point Tornadus can never click Bleak Wind once Urshifu comes in, because it just dies to a Sucker Punch from that point, right? And I think that, you know, that's a very cool strategy. So this is just, you know, a little starter set that I believe that you may be able to look into. I'm gonna, you know, explore this Pokemon more. I haven't really had a chance to really build around it, but I do have some more ideas that I'm gonna save for like when I do my team building video, and I actually showcase a team around this Pokemon. Because I'm gonna build a team around every single new Paradox Pokemon, and I'm gonna do my best to, you know, make them viable. Last but not least, we have Iron Crown, which is the Paradox version of Cobalion. Now, Cobalion, while it might have a little bit more use than Virizion, it won't have as much use as Terrakion, because Terrakion is really good, and Terrakion's fast, right? And while you do outspeed Chi-Yu and stuff with the 108, like base 90 attack, base 72 defense, special defense is not good. What you can do is like go like max special defense, you know, max HP, and then just turn this into like a body iron defense body press bot. Now there are other Pokemon that do this strategy better, but I guess you have a niche that you get an attack boost every time you get hit with a dark type, but you're not gonna really be using your attack when you're going for this type of set. And I guess you go Protect and probably like Iron Head or something. So you just, of course, you can remove Fluttermane, which is the most common Ghost type. You kind of walled by Gholdengo with this set though, right? But that's when team building comes into play, and you know you want to have. But this is just something I just want to show. This is not a team building video about Cobalion, but you know, this is probably, if you see Cobalion, most likely, unless it's with Whimsicott and they're going for like Justified stuff, this is the set that you're gonna see, and it's probably just gonna be an Iron defense bot. But there's so many Pokemon like Garganacl, Como-O, Registeel, what's another one that's been commonly doing Iron defense body press? Oh, Goodra. Like, so many ones that do this strategy just better than this. But if you want to try to use Cobalion, I guess that's what you can go for. But Iron Crown is going to be really good in my opinion. Expanding Force, fast expanding Force with a booster energy, right? And then you make sure I think you want to always go booster energy speed, unless you have like a really sorry about that, it's my alarm going off. Unless you have like a really fast mode that you want to go to. I think that being able to just lead it and outspeed pretty much everything that's not on a booster energy except Regieleki is really valuable in my opinion. You probably want to go, if you go a Timid Nature, you want to go just about that much, right? And now, you can go like this, and now you could put like the rest of these points in like defense and stuff. I would say just bring this up a little bit in there, a little bit Well, you actually still don't have that much to invest into your defenses. I would say do about that much, and now you have, you know, a little bit like minor bulk. It's not much, but I guess you could like go max special attack and then just play on to make this thing bulky and play on tailwind. But I think that being able to, you know, naturally outspeed, you know, Choice Scarf Landorus, Choice Scarf Urshifu, and being able to just, you know, deal big damage to them without having to set up a tailwind is really valuable for this Pokemon, right? And Expanding Force off with this much special attack investment off with Indeedee. Indeedee's gonna be probably the most seen partner with this Pokemon. Going for a helping hand into this thing just makes it do so much damage, right? And its signature move, Tycon Cutter, hits twice, so it's able to remove things like Mimikyu, it's able to remove things like Flutter Mane, it's able to remove things like Chien-Pao with a Focus Sash, because it hits them twice is very good. And of course, the most common terror you're probably going to see is Water Terror with Terra Blast, just so you're not 100% walled by Incineroar. But I don't think that that's the only terror that you need. I think that something a little bit more interesting to me is, and this also helps you against Heatran, right? But I think it's Ground Terror. Ground Terror does similar things. It doesn't give you the same defensive synergy, but your natural Steel Psychic typing does really well naturally, unless you're getting hit super effectively, right? And you're only weak to like Fire and Ground and Ghost, right? Well, yeah, Fire, Ground, Ghost, and Dark, similar to like Metagross. But the thing about Metagross is defensive typing is real good, and Ground does not share any of those same weaknesses as this typing does. And I think that Ground can be a little bit more surprising, because now you're going to be able to hit a lot of those Pokemon that are going to expect you to have Water Terror, because this Pokemon is going to, it has like a common core going around with like Indeedee plus Landorus, Chi-Yu, Flutter Mane, and Urshifu Water. And they're going to be expecting you to be Water Terror to be able to remove Incineroar. And now going with Ground Terror, you're just switching things up a little bit, and you're giving them a little bit more things to think about when you're on best of one ladder, right? And Heatran can actually survive the Terra Blast Water because it's just his natural bulk. It cannot survive a Terra Blast Ground because it's 4 times weak to ground. So that's kind of, you know, one of the strategies I think that could be good. Outside of that, of course, Water Terror is good. What else could be good? I guess a Fire Terror could be good. Fire Terror, Fire Blast, so you can hit those steel types that usually wall you as well. You still take resisted damage from Incineroar, but this Incineroar completely walls a set. But this thing is it's gonna have very good support around it. Like, people are gonna purposely tech their team to make you want to bring your Incineroar to this, and then their opponents just remove your Incineroar easily, and then this just comes in and sweep you in any game. And I think Fire Terror just gives it another good coverage. It's another set that I saw running around on the ladder that I ran into. It didn't beat me, but I was able to. It surprised me, but I didn't expect it because I was expecting Water Terror. It was Fighting Terror with not Terra Blast but Focus Blast. And this is a little bit less inconsistent because Focus Blast is 70% accurate and it can miss. But with the Fighting Terror going for this can also remove Heatran and remove Incineroar, because of how hard it's hitting. With Helping Hand, Fighting Terror, Focus Blast, which 120 base power, like, you're doing so much damage. Now, like I said, it has a 30% chance to miss, which is not ideal. So I recommend just going with like Ground Terror. And Ground Terror probably covers for so many other things in the format that you might see that you might not even expect, right, in my opinion. And going for that Terra Blast. Like, this is not just to beat Incineroar and Heatran. If you see a Hisuian Arcanine, you also just remove that. Of course, Water Terror remove that as well. But just things that are weak to ground that typically, you know, don't want to see. You also Raging Bolt. This set, a bulky Raging Bolt can pretty much take a hit from you and then hit you back with a powerful Electric Terror boosted Thunderbolt and pretty much remove you, right? But now with Ground Terror, you're immune to those Thunderbolts. If they remove your terrain, now you're immune to Thunderclap. And I think that hitting it back for super effective damage, while it may not be a one-hit KO because of how bulky Raging Bolt is, a two-hit KO is always welcome, right? And I think that's a really good niche that this Pokemon can have with the Ground Terror. And of course, there's other things that I'm probably not thinking about right now that are weak to ground that you can just really do well into, right? And I think that's a very good thing for this Pokemon. But that's going to be it for, you know, my 3 potential sets with these Pokemon. I believe that they're all really good in their own right. I think that Iron Leaves just needs a little bit more support than the other 2. I think that Iron Boulder is gonna be like something that pops up in a meta later that's gonna be really good because it can go through protect. It cuts back a lot of counterplay, right? I just think that people haven't explored it as much because Iron Crown is pretty much taking up all the attention right now. But I do think that it's gonna have its point where it thrives. I think that Iron Leads won't be able to thrive in the format, but you're gonna see a team that's built really well around it with like a Thunderous, right? And you're probably gonna lose to it every now and then, but it's not gonna be as consistent. So, but my opinion, I think Iron Crown is gonna be the best out of the three. I think over longevity, because you have the side spam. Think of Armarouge, but like fast Armarouge is always Armarouge outside of Regulation C when all the Ruin Pokemon were introduced and they're all dark. Other than that, Armarouge has always been around in every format, right? It's gonna have times where you have to have counterplay into it or you just lose, right? And you can't say the same about these two. You don't have to have text to beat these two. You just have to play well if you run into like a niche team that's using these. But with this, you have to have counters to Expanded Force because otherwise you just get swept by it. And in my opinion, that's what makes Iron Crown the best. I think Iron Boulder is a close second, and I think Iron Leaf third. And again, like the 3 Paradox Pokemon, the past, I don't think that any of these are inherently bad. I think that these two just need a little bit more work. But I do believe Iron Boulder, because of his signature move, that it's gonna be a little bit better than people think. Initially, it just hasn't been explored that much. But that's gonna be it for this video. If you like this type of content, let me know in the comment below. Subscribe, turn on post notifications because we're posting Pokemon content every single day. And we are getting ready for this new season. It is the 3rd right now. Currently, it's early in the morning. The new season doesn't start till 7 p.m. Eastern time. So as soon as it starts, we're gonna go ahead and get some videos recorded, and I'm gonna get a video out for you guys showcasing, some new teams that I have coming for the new format, right? But like I said, until we get there, we're gonna hold off with some of that content, and we're gonna make like videos like these. But like I said, that's gonna be it for this video. Turn on post notifications for me, subscribe, like the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, deuces.